So this is my recording setup. I have a GoPro on a stand hanging off my wall, facing down into this section. It's pretty crap light-wise. This is with my lights off and just the I've got a window in my workshop, and if I pull the blind down, you can see it gets really dark really quickly, and you can't really see any detail. And if I put the lights on, there isn't really a lot more. Like, there's lots of shadows over my workspace, so I've decided that I am going to attempt to make some lights. I'm going to make it all from recycled parts. So I've got some cable. This is 5 core. It's left over from a project. It's pretty standard YY cable, I think. Anyway, got loads of it left over. I've got a drum of it left over. These were bought for a project. They're cheap Chinese things. They have some, well, they're up to 24 volt, so but I'm going to run them on 12 volt, and they have DMX on Cat5 connectors, or well, no, RJ45s, which is incorrect. It took me a little while to work out how these were wired because it wasn't as per the diagram. And then they have these Phoenix connectors for your LEDs or whatever other PWM thing you're going to put on it. Dip switches for your address. It's quite important. Anyway, so I'm going to use these. For the time being, I'm going to use my modified ATX power supply because, yeah, so it's already wired up. And then for the actual LEDs, my desk is messy. The actual LEDs, I have tons of this stuff. Again, recycled from a project, and it's RGB and some warm whites. Let me see if I can get it close. But you see, you can't probably see it because of the shadows. Anyway, so what my plan was is to make some panels, very basic panels, using this, just some strips, all wired up in parallel because it's all 12 volt tape. That was something I was doing the other day. Don't know what that is. So you probably can't read this, but I've got some 12 volt 60 watt power supplies, which will go into these. And then from that I will have 3 output connectors, and then on that I'll have 3 panels so I can mix and match or whatever. The connectors I'm going to use I actually found on Amazon, and they're actually rated to 0.2 millimeter cable or contacts. I'm not really sure which one, it's very vague, and they're only capable of 2 amps. But because I'm using RGB warm white tape, each one of these basically is ground. The switching side is on the ground side, so you have 2 amps coming over your, or you can have as much as you want over your 12 volt, and then obviously you send it back via your 4 grounds, your 4 switch grounds. But if your connector is only rated to 2 amps, then you should only allow 2 amps down your positive, which actually limits the amount of LEDs that you can have. So if I'm using 2 amp connectors or 2 amp contacts or whatever, then I need to make sure that I don't go over 2 amps. So I was going to have 16 sections of this stuff. So this comes in 10 meter sections, so you can chop it every 10 centimeters or 100 mil. I can get away with 17 sections before hitting the 2 amp limit, but I don't want to do that because I'm using a 60 watt power supply. That becomes my limiting factor. So each one of these is limited to 2 amps, and then my input is actually limited to 5.5 amps. So what I'm actually going to do is have 3 panels with 12 sections on each, which is 17.28 watts on each panel. So each 10 centimeters uses 1.44 watts, by the way, at full load. So that's 17 per panel, which is underneath, which puts me underneath my 2 amp current on these connectors here, and it puts me under, if I have 3 panels connected, it puts me under the 60 watts or 5.5 amp there. So in theory this should work, but the question I have is, what effect does 12 of these sections actually have on the recordings that I do? So my recording style is here, so this is my workspace I need to light. You can see it's shadowy, the lights don't help. So I want to do some light coming in to make it a bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it all up, and I'm going to try and do I'm going to hook up 4 strings of 3 sections. Or do I want to do 3 sections of 4? Make it easier. No, I'm going to do it the hard way. Well, it's not really much difference. I'm going to do 4 sections of 3. Can I do that? Or can I do 2 sections? 6 sections of 2. You know what? I'm going to do 6 sections of 2 because I can then fit that on an A4 sheet of board. So I have some. Here we go. I have some. This is foam. This is very old foam board. It's not an ideal backing, so I reckon. Let me just see if I can do this. Yeah, so I'll get 2 on there. And scissors.
And then I should. So just like 1 strip. 2, 3.
The other thing I know about LED tape: never reuse these bits where they join them onto wires in the thing. The pads on this are wrecked, so don't bother using those. I can throw away. And then
so I'll do this one. So this. So 1, 2, 3. So 6 of 2 is 12. Let's give that a go and see if there is actually any effect on the lighting conditions in the workshop.
so this is kind of my. Oh, it's not working. Let's use the SD card thing. This is kind of what I'm going for. Probably not very easy to see actually. So basically 6 rows with 2 sections on each row. That makes 12 sections, which is what I was aiming for. And it's just stuck on this bit of board. So it's just an it was an A4 sheet, so it's 210 that way, and this particular offcut is 140 that way. So it's less than half a sheet, which could be good or handy in the future to know. So I'll put on the light just in case it helps. I think I should now probably start making this into something that is usable. So I've got it wired up now on a quick, it's on like a self-programmed chase. And it's going through the colours of the LEDs. I'll take a picture of how I've got this set up in a minute. But I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna duct tape it. Onto something. I don't know. There you go. So directly behind the camera, wedged behind the GoPro, I've got it set up, and it's colour scrolling through. And then here I have what is supposed to be a clear cup, used for all kinds of stuff. So I'll tell you which colours there are. So it's on a random colour scroll thing. So that's blue. That's well, gone back to blue again. That's green. Then it's like scrolling for everything. So it's blue. Where's the red? There's green. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of colour options there, but I mean that one's quite nice. So it's like when the warm white LEDs are on, it looks kind of quite natural. I wonder if I can slow it down. So there's blue on its own, and then green on its own, and then warm white and red, and then like purple and warm white, and then back to blue or cyan. So that's with my workshop lights off and just on these LEDs. So if I now unplug them, so this is my natural light when it's dark, can't really see anything. These are my workshop lights, which is 3 60-watt old school incandescent lamps, and then you put the new one back on, loads more light, and it's right in the right place. But there's a little bit of work to be done with the colour temperature, which is unfortunate. But hey ho, I think that was successful. So now I think I will buy some connectors and make this into a full system.